Welcome to another episode of Good Teams Win, Great Teams Cover. We're back. This time we're going to be taking a look at a different sport than usual. We're going to be doing a betting preview for the European Championships. Euro 2024 starts this week in Germany. 24. Is it 24? I don't know how many teams are in it anymore. It is 24. 24.
I didn't know what year it was.
Yeah. 24 of the top European national teams gathering in Germany to duke it out for the European Championships. And of course, it's coming home. Possibly, probably not. We'll find out in 5 weeks' time. We're going to talk through Euro 2024 from a betting perspective, because that's what we do here. Good Teams and Great Teams Cover. We'll also talk over our football 11, our soccer 11's made up of current NFL players. I nearly got that the other way around then. We should have maybe done that as well. But yeah, we look at NFL players that will make up a football, soccer 11 and why. We've all selected a team and we'll talk through why, which I'm sure will make for great content. And we'll also do a roundup of the latest news in the NFL as it's been, it's been another quiet week, but a couple of big news stories. Joe, Byron, we're back. How are we both doing? Are you excited for Euro 2024? Let's start there.
Oh, yeah, I've got the fever. Got Friday afternoon off for Germany, Scotland. So, yeah, 23 of the greatest European countries, and Scotland have made it as well. So that's good. Delighted for them. See if they can finally get out of a group in their life. Yeah, it should be. I can't wait. Yeah, England on Sunday afternoon, my time. So I'm on Central time in America, obviously. So, yeah, just one game Friday, and then 3 games a day for a few days. So cannot wait. Yeah, fully on Euros fever now.
Nice. 2, 5, and 8 for us here in the UK. Very that's good. I like that. It's good times. I'm also off work as well for it all. Pretty much all. Only a couple of days that I'm working, but I'm pretty much off for the whole tournament, which is awesome.
Nice.
It's just not on purpose. It's just the way my holidays have fallen. And I'm going to be in Portugal for the day of the final in Lisbon. Ooh. Last time that happened, I was in Lisbon for a Euros final. Portugal won it, so who knows?
Have they called for you?
History, yeah. History may repeat itself. And it was a wild.
How was that as a team in 2016?
It was wild, yeah. It was a heck of a party, yeah. They beat France in Paris to win Euro 2016. Ronaldo came off.
Was it right?
Eder, yeah. Ronaldo came off after 15, 20 minutes injured. All hope gone.
I thought I tapped in.
Very good. Very good.
But yeah. Stuff. Yeah. History could repeat itself 8 years later. I'm going to be in the same place again. Who knows? Right. Enough about my holiday, so people know where I'm going to be. It's weird. Shall we get into the NFL news roundup? There's 2 key stories, I guess. Or 3, because we've had one break this afternoon as well. Less an NFL story, more a video game story. But let's start with the Mike Tomlin extension, which that news came out yesterday. Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin signed a 3-year contract extension, which takes him through to the 2027 season. This came a bit out of the blue. Kind of, we've discussed certainly last season on Good Season Great to Come Out. We felt kind of maybe the Steelers are getting to the end of Mike Tomlin. Maybe it's time to part ways. He's been there for so long. They're just kind of in that rut of being kind of mediocre. And then boom, 3-year contract extension.
Yeah, I think just sensible, really. I think you can with the amount of money in the NFL, you can always let a coach go and just pay them off, truthfully. I think it's good to always have stability. You just seen the Browns do it last week, and that's something the Browns haven't done forever. Steelers do not fire head coaches, really. I think they've had 3 since 1969-ish. Very, very stable organization. I don't think, the last GM, Kevin Colbert, he only left because he retired. They're just not a franchise who likes to shake things up. Maybe they're not in any kind of window to win the Super Bowl this year, but yeah, I think they know that Mike Tomlin's a very solid hand going forward and no drama.
Yeah, it's never finished with a losing record. We've talked about that as well in his 17 seasons. Is he putting that at risk by signing on for 3 years? Joe, do you think he can make it through 3 years with that record intact?
But yeah, there's no reason why to doubt him. I think because I was surprised just because it felt like he might have been leaving last year, and he could have this year, who knows what's happening with the quarterback, and if there's turmoil and having to start again, could he have left, had a year off, and gone somewhere else? But I'm guessing he'd rather be with the Steelers than any other team because he's got that stability and he's got the presence, and it's basically he runs the show. While if he went anywhere else, it might not be the case. So I think it makes sense for him. I was just surprised, like you said, with all the speculation last year, and it's not like the end of the year. I think everyone be like, wow, get ready for the Steelers next year. And I know they've made a few, they've got Wilson and Fields in, but, who knows what happens there. So if they have another 9-8, it just feels like they've been stuck in 9-8 for the last, God knows how many years. So since Ben fell off a cliff fairly sharply, it's been very mediocre, and just the defense has been keeping them 9-8. So, I could see them going 9-8 again this year looking at that squad. But does it actually get you anywhere? But hey, why not? You'd rather him stay and see where it goes forward than going for an absolute gamble and God knows who to bring in.
There's no doubt he's been successful. 7 AFC North titles, 11 playoff appearances, 2 Super Bowl appearances, and a Super Bowl win in 2008. So, yeah, but just, I don't know. Just
some of them playoff appearances, I'm not going to say they're fraudulent, but this year they played Buffalo and it was really, you made the playoffs when half the AFC does, but really, you were never winning the Super Bowl. Is it really?
They added the quintessential 7 seed. Why you shouldn't have a 7 seed?
Yeah, it is just and it was the Chiefs the year before, or 2 years before, I think, where again it was just if you're going in as double-digit underdogs every year, it's a nice record to never have a losing season, but it's kind of inconsequential, really.
Yeah. Sorry, we've got another 3 years of betting on Mike Tomlin as an underdog anyway, because I'm going to take it every single time. Every single goddamn time, especially on the road. Cool. Mike Tomlin, done. We had a retirement. Not a surprise one, I guess, because it's been mulled off. I think we've heard kind of since the end of the season, January, that this one might happen. Darren Waller, tight end of the New York Giants, formerly of the Raiders and the Ravens, made his decision that he's going to retire from the NFL at the age of 31. I don't know if you've seen the video that Darren Waller put out or read the statement. I guess it's on the basis of some very serious health problems, so much so he's saying he almost died, and he's taking the decision as a result to retire from the NFL. It seemed such a good trade at the time for the Giants. I think it was a 3rd round pick back at the start of last free agency, so last March. And it seemed like a real good fit, and it just never got going with the Giants for Darren Waller. Leaves the Giants in a bit of a... They don't really have anyone else at tight ends. They're in a bit of a sticky situation there. But yeah, thoughts on Darren Waller retiring?
I mean, good luck to him. He's always seemed like a good guy. A very, very odd career. I don't know if he was undrafted or a late round draft pick with the Ravens as a wide receiver back in 2015, I believe. I think it's 2015. Didn't make any impact in Baltimore. I don't know if he retired or was just kind of untouched. And then he went to Oakland, as it was, I think, or the Raiders, certainly. I think it was in Oakland, and reinvented himself as a tight end. And that 2018 season, I think it was, again, the years are a little fuzzy here, but he was the late round fantasy league winner, essentially. Came out of nowhere, nearly 1,200 yards, nearly 100 catches. And it was oh my God, this is incredible. And then he followed it up next year in Vegas with the same kind of thing. I think nearly 10 touchdowns, another 1,200 yard season. And then it was kind of as high as the high was, the low, it was really not a one-hit wonder, kind of a two-hit wonder, where, he then got paid, and then kind of health kind of deteriorated, it felt immediately. I know he's had his issues in years gone by with substance abuse, but he seems to be sober and clean now. He has also just got divorced this offseason, I believe, and he's also launched a music career to less success in his football career. So I think kind of football's loss is music's loss also, but I wish him well and good health. Like I say, he's always seemed like a good guy from everything I know of him on and off the field. So, he got his bag. didn't ultimately work out in a long-term career for him. But yeah, happy that he's got out while he's fit and well to do so.
Yeah, best of luck. I say it's a shame to see someone retire so young, 31. Yeah, but clearly just wasn't working out with the Giants, and yeah, the injuries just seem to be mounting up. So if he had that kind of monster year with the Raiders, and then
can you believe the Raiders actually won a trade? It feels like the first time.
It's not the trade,
yeah. It's not normally, but yeah, I think it is big for the Giants because I think if he came back with, especially actually getting what we expect in number one wide receiver, Malik Neighbors, and he's gonna stretch the field. There's gonna be a lot of bodies, surrounding him. So I thought he could have had a big year if obviously without the injuries and whatnot. That he could be massive for the Giants as that safety blanket if Malik Neighbors is being covered, then Dan Waller, because he felt like even last year, I know you had Barkley, but it felt like they were the only two main targets. So it feels like they've actually started to put some stuff around Daniel Jones, and then one of them retires. So yeah, it's pretty bad luck for the Giants and for Daniel Jones.
Yeah, and he was someone like I was all in on last offseason fantasy. I think I had Waller on, I'd say every one of my fantasy teams, but an awful lot of them because I just thought he's a wide receiver one. He's going to. And I think, to be fair, he was actually pretty good in his first few games when he was healthy. And then he got injured, Jones got injured, and, the Giants were picking at 6. So, yeah, now no Saquon, no Waller. Who knows what Daniel Jones will be next year if the, Giants don't want him getting injured again because then they have to guarantee his contract the year after. Yeah, interesting season coming, I think, for New York.
Yeah, sort of, it leaves, I guess, Daniel Bellinger as the most likely option as a starting tight end.
Yeah, they drafted Theo Johnson as well, who kind of shone athletically, I guess, at the combine. Penn State guys always do, and they don't have any production. So I have no idea if he's going to be good, but he is an athlete. And you want athletes at tight end, but it doesn't fill confidence. Daniel Bellinger's not done much in 2 years, and Theo Johnson is a pure project athlete. So Malik Neighbors might get 200 targets.
Yeah, I don't think that means a lot when it's Daniel Jones throwing you the ball.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Other bit of news that's broke, and it's again less NFL, more video game news. Christian McCaffrey is the cover man for Madden 25, I think it'll be. Yeah, Madden 25. Joe, are you worried that there might be a Madden curse for CMC?
Well, I had to like quick look up, see how real the Madden curse, because I'm like, it's said injuries and whatnot, but there's been a few examples where it's worked out. But I saw one post, it was like the 49ers have been to the Super Bowl like the last 3 or how many years, and they've lost each one. What is a Madden curse? It's not like we're winning anything. We're already cursed anyway. We can't win the Super Bowl, so it is what it is. And if you believe in that kind of stuff, you go for it. But it's not going to affect him. He's just got his his nice contract, nice Madden cover. He's not doing too bad this month for CMC.
Yeah, that's definitely another large payment he would have received, the Madden cover. I think there's some, so I think it might be exaggerated, but I think there was a run where those that were on the cover either just had disasters or completely disappeared. And I think it probably started before Peyton Hillis, but that's the one for me that was probably the biggest one that I could remember.
I think the bigger issue is Peyton Hillis should never have been on the cover.
Yeah.
Like, you can't really call it a Madden curse. It was like, this one hit wonder and didn't repeat. It's like, of course he didn't. It's Peyton Hillis.
Yeah. And then I think Odell Beckham was I think that was his third. I want to say it was his third year at the Giants when he'd already started to tail off. Antonio Brown's might have been at the start where he clearly started suffering with CTE. With that one, Lamar's was the one I think where he started with his injuries after. I think there's that year that the Titans beat him in the playoffs. Yeah, as the number 1 seed. Brady and Mahomes 1 year. John Madden. I mean, he was dead, so that's a pretty good curse. And then Josh Allen, he had his troubles last year.
Didn't win the Super Bowl either.
Didn't win the Super Bowl. He had his challenges last year.
Yeah, OC got fired.
Yeah, OC got fired. He struggled through most interceptions in the NFL, didn't he, last year, Josh Allen?
He was certainly up there if he wasn't number one, yeah.
It was Washington guy.
Oh, of course, it was Sam Howell, wasn't it? Yeah.
Everything bad number one was Sam Howell last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it might be a good thing to maybe draft yourself some Elijah Mitchell or
whatever third round.
Isaac Garendo, is it? They have another rookie running back whose name I can't remember. I want to say Carson Steele, but I think he ended up on the Chiefs. There was another one who I have in one of my deep dynasty leagues, but I can't remember his name. So yeah, maybe just draft all the 49ers backups and pray for the curse.
Pray for the curse, yeah. Excellent. That's enough for the NFL. Quiet week again. Could do some more going on. Let's get more going on in the NFL. It's making these shows very difficult when there's a lack of NFL. It's primarily an NFL gambling-based podcast. But, you know, we're creative. So we're going to talk about soccer, football, association football.
As it's known.
As it's known.
Soccer.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever you want to call it. Euro 2024 starts Friday night in Germany. What a great country to host the tournament as well. Cracking place for a tournament in Germany. Let's talk bets. Byron, you're going to lead the way on this because I don't really know what I'm talking about.
Grand, as per. So yeah, we'll just start out, I think, start top level. We've all picked an outright winner or two in my case. Or I think you maybe as well, Paul. And me and you have actually picked one of the same. So do you want to give us your favourite, Paul? Who are you picking as winner?
So the one I like the most is, I alluded to it earlier, and not just for that reason, I'm going to be in Lisbon for the night of the final. I like Portugal at 7-1.
Yeah.
So I know sort of look at the last tournament, they were sort of unceremoniously dumped out of the World Cup in the quarterfinals by the surprise package of that tournament, Morocco.
Yep.
But I just kind of like what Portugal have got as a squad.
Yeah.
I think they're real solid. They've just played again tonight. Ronaldo's got himself a couple of warm-up goals. I think they played Ireland in a friendly tonight. And yeah, I just think they've kind of got a lot of firepower. And I know it doesn't necessarily always come off in terms of, you know, they're not sort of hammering teams in tournaments. But I just think they've got in Ronaldo, if he's actually going to start. We saw him, he was dropped at the back end, you know, certainly dropped for the games at the knockout games at the World Cup. It was
depth as well.
Yes. What's the guy who plays for PSG called? The striker.
Yeah. Oh, Gonçalo Ramos.
Yes, Gonçalo Ramos. He came in and scored a hat-trick in the last 16 in the World Cup. But they do have depth, and you just look at they've got firepower in Leao, Ronaldo, João Felix, Bruno, Bernardo Silva. Jota, and actually they are pretty solid defensively as well.
Yeah,
and I just think they're a really good tournament team, and they've got, you know, I couldn't believe this. I couldn't honestly. I saw the team they played against Ireland for, and that Pepe was still playing is wild. But, you know, in Ruben Diaz, in Dalot, in Cancelo, they've just got real solid players everywhere.
Yeah.
And I just think they've kind of maybe where they fell off last time at the World Cup, where they had gaps maybe in central midfield, players have seemed to emerge. And I just think they're a real solid team.
Yep, and spoiler alert, Portugal are my favourite as well. I actually got them at 15-2 on DraftKings over here. I think I can't really say much more than what you've already said. I think there's so much fluidity going forward. Nice, solid defensive base. Diogo Dalot had a great season with Man United last year. I mean, not many players did, but even out of position, he was really, really solid. Bruno, I think, is kind of the cog for them. Being in, again, good form for Man United. I know gets a bit of complaining sometimes about how he looks as a leader. But I think in terms of his performances, I don't really think you can question him over his Man United and his Portugal career. Experience everywhere. My one kind of issue is, do you know who the manager of Portugal is?
Yes, that's what I was about to say. The drawback is that they have Roberto Martinez as their manager, and that's probably maybe where they'll get let down. Former FA Cup winner with Wigan.
Yeah. Give him that. And he didn't massively underachieve with Belgium. It's hard to win tournaments. but also didn't get the best out of Belgium, truthfully, obviously. But yeah, I don't think it's a huge hindrance. I'm backing them to win the tournament. So obviously, I don't think so. It's just a funny name to look at and you're like, he stole another living. Well done for him. So yeah, we've both gone Portugal. Joe, you have got someone else from the Iberian Peninsula. Who have you fancied? Spoiler alert, I guess, on this one too.
Yeah, that's it's not Andorra. It's Spain. It's more just I like the price of. I got my plus 750 with Bet365 over here, and I just liked. I had a quick look at the squad. It's not amazing, like especially the depth, but it feels like they can step up again. They got knocked out of the World Cup last year by Morocco, similar to Portugal, on penalties. But I just think with the talent they've got, there's certain players. They've got players who can win games.
Yeah,
and I think they've still got that. I don't think they've got the strength and depth they once had when you've got Jesus Navas is still in the squad at 38, which I couldn't believe, and Joselu up top. With Ayoze Perez in the squad as well. So the
and you think this team to win the tournament?
Well, because there's 26
players.
Yeah, no, there's 26 players. There's only going to put like 15 who's going to really play, and they've still got world class players like Rodri, Pedri, and they've got a lot of youngsters in there who can change it. And I just think with the Euros, you just need to, there's the obvious favourites and. There's a reason why we probably stayed away from that because of the price. But I think you just need to get a good run. Someone just needs to surprise, knock out of France and England. And then, anyone can win it. We've seen it throughout the years. Like Portugal wasn't a favourite. Greece, back in the day. That I think the team can just go on a run. I think Spain's got the players and, the players who with Real Madrid know how to win. And I think that's such a big advantage. So I just like the price, to be honest. And that's why I've chosen them. And I might as well follow on. I've chosen the final to be Spain versus England. I think I worked it out. If Spain and England both win their groups, which I expect them to, then they'll see each other in the final. So I've gone Spain, England, and win either way.
Nice. Paul, you picked a second team as well?
Yeah, I just took as well. Again, I think the price is okay. It's 11-2 or plus 550. Yeah, the home nation, Germany. I know they're in a bit of a state of flux. They've had a couple of really bad tournaments. I don't think they've got to a quarterfinal in a tournament. I think it's 3 or 4 tournaments in a row, possibly more. They've not even got to a last 8. They didn't make out the group last time at the World Cup. They were beaten the last 16 at the last Euros by England. They didn't make out the World Cup when they were defending champions in Russia 2018. So, yeah, they've had a bad run. So I almost just think kind of Germany are due sort of thing. What a terrible phrase. Germany are, yeah, they're fucking hell. They're bound to show up at a tournament sooner or later. Is what I'm getting at. Obviously, Nagelsmann's maybe less than a year in the job since they sacked Hansi Flick after they were on an all-time bad run, which was worse than what they've been showing at the tournaments. But I think home advantage is massive. I think home advantage is massive for a big nation in a tournament. And yeah, I just think Germany have got enough. They've got enough good players, haven't they? I think they're missing like a real centre forward. So I can't remember where it was, so I can't quote it. But I was reading an article about they used to be. There was never a shortage of like top class German centre forwards and strikers, and there just seems to be a dearth of them at the minute. So I don't know if that's then Havertz as a false 9, although he's been in really good form for Arsenal, particularly second half of the season, finding the net with far more regularity, than he did in his time at Chelsea. So yeah, and I just think the Germans in a tournament historically have always been really, really good, and I just think it's a bit of a anomaly what's happened the last few years. But yeah, I just think at home they'll be a very, very difficult team to beat. Mix-ups have still got a lot of experience there. Toni Kroos came out of retirement. You've still got players like Neuer, Kimmich, Gundogan, those kind of real experienced players with your youth of like your Wirtz, your Musiala. So I think it's a good mix. And yeah, it's interesting because it's not a team full of normally you'd be able to all 26 Germany players that all be household names in a squad, but there's not.
Yeah.
There's people I don't know if he's been cut from the squad, but Undav, who struggled at Brighton, but has had a good year on loan at Stuttgart. Yep. I think he's probably likely to go. Robin Koch, who was just terrible at Leeds, he's gone back to Germany a few years, worked his way back into the squad. Don't know how much these guys will play, but yeah, I think it's a lot of it's on those experienced players and those young stars to kind of carry this team.
Yeah, and not getting too far ahead of ourselves, but I think they've got an easy group as well, truthfully. Certainly not a tough group compared to like Spain or some of the other teams who...
Yeah, I think it was Scotland, Hungary, Switzerland, yeah.
Yeah, they can kind of warm their way into it, and, those younger players can get a bit of, that experience of being a host nation. It does come with pressure.
I know everything I've just said about Germany and how home advantage is key.
But
there's a book coming. I do like Scotland at 8-1 on opening night.
Oh, just for the match. They're only 8-1. Jesus.
8-1. Scotland have also been garbage in the lead up to this. I'm sure we'll talk about Scotland at some point. I think they've won one of the last 9 games.
I heard someone saying it's 23 of the best countries in Europe and Scotland, which a bit disrespectful, but like you said, they haven't been in good form.
How many times are you going to get that in the next hour?
We'll see.
We'll see, okay. Over under 5.5. I don't know, just something for all those reasons of why, but it's that standalone game in terms of it being on its own on the Friday. It's big pressure. I assume it's in Berlin, right? So the Olympic Stadium in Berlin. And I just think Scotland just kind of just show up and spoil the party. Like 1-0 McTominay or something. And all of a sudden... Yeah, I know. I really fancy Scotland at 8-1 in that game, and just that game only, because you only need to win one game to get out the group, right?
I was about to say, in this format, a loss doesn't kick off the tournament.
It doesn't hurt you at all.
It doesn't. Yeah. Spain won. Was it World Cup 2010 after they lost to Switzerland in the groups as well?
Portugal won that 2016 Euros without winning a game in 90 minutes until the semi-final.
Yeah, so it certainly isn't a killer to get a good Scotland price in there. Same price as Man United to win the FA Cup final, famously.
Yeah.
So why not?
I think that would be much bigger of an upset, though, right? Scotland beating Germany and Berlin and United.
Feels bigger.
Yeah.
But people were very down on Man United. Present company excluded, obviously.
Not this guy.
Exactly. I have a long shot as my second country. I've gone Ukraine at 100-1. Been in good form. Good mixture of experience and youth. I think that side of the draw is open, like Spain, Germany are in there. I don't think there's a dominance team. I think they can kind of get to the final. They're probably going to play Portugal in the quarters if it maps out like I've written it out on my predictions, which, one of my 2 teams is getting to the semi-finals then in that case. But I just think 100-1, they're a really, really good price. A lot of this team won the Under-20s World Cup a few years ago and have come through together. Mudryk is certainly not the most consistent player in the world, but he's explosive and he has his moments in a tournament. That is almost all you need. Lunin has had a great season at Real Madrid as their 3rd choice goalie, who has inexplicably kind of become very important to them. Zinchenko in central midfield, and they actually have La Liga's top goal scorer, who we'll get to a little bit later, Dovbyk, for Girona. Yeah, La Liga's top goal scorer. They have to come in as well. And I just think the Euros is kind of a tournament that lends itself to outsiders a lot. Denmark obviously came in 92 out of nowhere, not qualified for the tournament and won it. Greece in 2004. Even Portugal in 2016, I think, were 22-1. For the price, I don't think it's... I honestly think it should be about half that price. So it's not what I'm expecting to be a banker, but I think it's just a great value bet, truthfully. I think they're a real solid team. And I think there is something to the national pride. They are a very proud nation and they're going through a lot right now. A winning football team is really important to, most countries, and Ukraine is certainly one of them that, since the breakup of the USSR has been a, very proud footballing nation. They've had some great players. One of them is actually coaching them now, Sergei Rebrov. Like I said, I just think it's too big of a price for the quality of the team. And kind of like their path to a good knockout game as well is not straightforward because they're not England or France, but I don't think it's super difficult either.
Interesting, just because you're talking about Ukraine, I mentioned it. I was looking at the team top goal scorer odds. I know it does make sense. The guy from Girona, but Mudryk's 12-1 to be the top team goal scorer. I think that's a real good value bet. Showed a little bit the last 6 to 8 weeks of the season because he's been dog awful at Chelsea.
Yeah.
Sort of that whatever else 100 million price tag hanging around his neck. It was like an anchor, I think, to him. But sort of showed a little bit. He was playing a little bit better. Scored a couple more goals. And I think that's a good value bet at 12-1 because again you'll assume he's going to get enough game time. I like that. And they're even money to beat Romania on Monday, which I think is a fantastic. Which I'd pile your money on that. Yeah, plus 100 even money. Whatever way you choose to look at it to beat Romania on Monday afternoon.
Yep, Monday morning here. I think it's 8 a.m., which is a lovely start to the working week. I also have one like Joe does final bet. I just have England Portugal. I think it's favourite from each side for me, and 14-1 to name your final. Won't go too deep into it. We've talked about Portugal. We know England's qualities. We're not here to sing them overly. Can Gareth Southgate get a tune out of them for knockout games? We will see. But that's my kind of. My heart says yes, but my eyes say.
I mentioned this in our group chat. I have backed it as well. I've actually put money on it. England 12-1 to not make it out of the group. So that would be realistically they
draw and 2 losses or 2 draws.
2 points surely won't be enough. So
no.
It's them not win a game. Basically, they might sneak through 3 draws. I think this England team is terrible. It should be good. They are terrible.
Yeah, I think that's overstating it, but I'm hard to fully defend them considering what we seen last week.
The balance of the squad and the fact that we are, and listen, I don't particularly like Gareth Southgate. I've never particularly liked Gareth Southgate. Apart from the pizza ad, it's a great ad. The balance of that squad is awful, and we're 8 years. He's 8 years as England manager, and he has still no idea what his best 11 is. No,
well, I think he kind of does, but it doesn't fit with what is good in this year. Like, I think he'd love to still be calling up Jordan Henderson, but
and
Calvin Phillips.
Still,
he hasn't really looked at it. And the one thing that we're not really on the betting here, we are just talking England, but like the inability to, Luke Shaw, I'm not going to say he's made of glass, but like he's injured a lot. To not develop or try and develop a left-sided solution it's negligent at being polite. You've got to give some minutes to some of the under-21s or some of the like Doughty at Luton, Mitchell at Crystal Palace, just like English left backs, just give them a go. I'm not saying you can't sign another left back. You've got what you've got.
Shaw's been injured the vast majority of the season as well. So this is
and so Chilwell as well, who again on paper is a good left back.
Chilwell's always injured.
He's always injured. Well, they both are. Like you need somebody there. Joe Gomez isn't the solution. Kieran Trippier can fill in, but that isn't how you should be approaching a tournament, in my opinion. I posted this on Twitter a while ago. Like, we used to like carry David Beckham into a tournament and hope he gets fit. Michael Owen, Wayne Rooney. We used to be a country. We're now doing it with Luke Shaw. I mean, goodness me. Can Ashley Cole just, work off his rust? I'm sure he'd fill in fine. I find it bums me out. But there's so much talent in this team that I'm not ready to just say no. Because, you've big game players who can switch it in a moment. Bellingham, Foden, Saka, Kane. To me, Kane is the most complete forward in football. I don't know if that's a take, but he just is. You can get by without a coach, as ridiculous as that might sound. Declan Rice has been, the last 2.5 years behind only Rodri, I think, in the position. I know he's not quite as defensive, but like as a overall midfielder, I think if they can just kind of do away with Southgate's shackles, maybe, I think they can still do it, but I'd love to feel more confident, truthfully.
I think probably my worry for England is centre half as well.
Yeah.
I think the balance is bad. And then John Stones, who kind of wasn't really in the City team the last 3-4 months of the season, mixture of injury and then other players playing well.
Yeah, it's hard to get in the City team.
You'll need to get back in. And then I think Mark Guéhi's done well for Palace.
He's been injured most of the season.
Decent play, but he's been injured a lot. And
don't say Lewis Dunk.
Experienced as well to throw him in a tournament. And that's my worry, is they're just going to get found out. And I'm not sure, and also you could make an argument and say, well, Branthwaite, yeah, he's not experienced. But also, he just seems so much better.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm fine with inexperience generally. But ultimately, I want the best 23, 26, 11, however that works out. And you can't convince me that Lewis Dunk's a better centre-back than Jared Branthwaite in 2024. You just...
Stones came...
Tarkowski should be in there as well, compared to Lewis Dunk.
Yeah. Stones came off injured, as a precaution, I think, the other night.
Yeah.
He's likely to get injured at any given moment.
Yep.
And then what do you do? Do you shift Kyle Walker and play, or do you put, throw Dunk in and you have Dunk and Guéhi as your partnership? You'll get ripped to shreds.
Yeah.
Joe, you've been quiet. What are your thoughts?
I'm just letting you guys go on and on and on. I'm an optimist. I think this, for England, this is the best attacking talent we've ever had as a whole squad. You could even say the starting 11 probably rivals what I can remember, like 2002, 2004. But I think even this one's even better, especially with the depth. When you think,
it's the best England attacking lineup I've ever seen.
Yeah, when we're leaving players like Grealish and Rashford out, and it was a shock, but it wasn't like, oh my god, what we're doing, because the players who are going in front of them, I was like, yeah, Eze should be, because he's had a better season. Gordon's had a better season, and there's a lot of things. I think it's the best talent. We've just hit the point where it's we've hit the best attacking squad we've ever had, with not the greatest defensive wise. Like if we could marry that up to, again, mid-noughties when we had that centre-backs coming out of our ears. But I think the issue is he was always hoping Maguire was going to be fit. I think, obviously, with the centre-back, that's not helped. And, you can say what you want about Maguire and Stones, but they have performed the last two or three tournaments where we've got further than I ever thought we were ever going to get. I accepted that we were a quarter-final team, and that was it. And, we've hit a semi, a final. And even against France, at least we were the better team, which I never would have expected that. So, you go optimistic. I'm not too fussed about, I think I said in the group chat that there's at least going to be 6 to 8 players who didn't even touch the field. So, if Dunk hits the field, there's an issue. If we had more experience in Braithwaite, if he had touched the field, obviously there would have been some injuries. It's more the attacking players which switch around. So I think, the 16 who are 16 to 18 who are actually going to play, I think we've got a better chance. I think you could certainly compare against it. Like I said, it's just that defense, and I think if we just had a top quality centre half who stayed fit, then I would be a lot more confident. But it's the Euros where we talked about teams like Portugal. When you looked at their, some of their players can't even get the Swansea squad and stuff like that. So
that's what I was about to say as well. You don't need to be perfect to win a tournament.
You should be lucky.
Yep, just be good for 6 games, and it's coming on. My kind of queries there. I have England in the final. If England were the same price as Portugal, I'd be betting England to win the tournament. They're not. They're 3-1, which is too short.
I am. It's been like this for months when I've seen it. I still do not understand how they're favourites, especially now when that's the 26 that they're favourites.
Well, it's pretty because we've just talked about the other big teams. Spain's not a good squad. Portugal's not that great. Italy's not that great. Germany's not that great.
Miles better than England.
Yeah. I think they've got star power, but again, they've probably got some positions where you're like, oh, okay. And it's just,
But I will, I'm going to move us along anyway, because we're here for a betting preview, not the England squad breakdown from 10 days ago. We've all got a better top goal scorer. In fact, I think we all have got 2. Paul, you started last time. Joe, do you want to go? Just take your 2. Who are your 2 top goal scorer bets?
Yeah, I've gone for the double S's. I've gone for Sane for Germany and Saka for England. I just tried to not go with the obvious, obviously Kane being the highest price. And you do try and get a penalty taker in there just because how it is. But I just think how world football is now, everyone plays with 3 up top. with like the two attacking wingers, and I just think, especially Saka, Southgate loves him. I think he's going to start, and if he starts, you just think, especially against how the tournament is now, you get 2 or 3 in the group stage against some of these there's more crap teams basically in the Euros than there's ever been. So there's chances to get some goals in Scotland, and I just think like Sane as well. He's always hot and cold, but he's one of them who can just go on a streak. And I think at that price, again, I'm just trying to choose teams where I do think Germany could go quite far. And if you only need probably 4 or 5 goals to be the top scorer, and Sane is certainly one of them. I could easily get a hat trick against Scotland coming up, going against Paul's bet. But yeah, they're my 2.
Get beat 4-3.
Yeah.
If Scotland score 4 goals in this tournament, I'll be surprised. But yep, maybe. And your second one, Joe, who'd you go for? S and S is.
I said Sane and Saka.
Sane and Saka.
Saka.
You're not listening.
That's it, yeah.
Well, I was waiting to see if he was going to break this down more. I honestly love the Saka pick. Saka is what, 40 to 1, Joe? 33 to 1? I can't remember which one was which.
40 to 1 was Saka, yeah.
I love Saka as a bet because I think his problem down the end of the season is he never gets a fucking rest. And now he's had one. I think he's maybe world class is a little too far, but I think he's a real top talent, Saka. Again, it's not really a take, but I think kind of some of the Cole Palmer clamour has maybe detracted from how good Bukayo Saka really is and has been for a few years now. And I think Arsenal's over-reliance on him has kind of impacted him a little negatively in his numbers down the end of the season. But yeah, I think he's a great bet here. Southgate does love him. I didn't back it, but I think it's a real good one. I think Kane, again, as we'll get into kind of as I'll talk about with my NFL Euro 11, I love how Kane is kind of not a false 9, but he kind of just like, he's willing to drop deep and feed others. And Saka, again, he's not Arjen Robben. He does it a bit closer to goal, but he's so good at just getting that cut in and just opens up that far corner. He could easily get 3 or 4 in the groups. Yeah, I think that's a real solid bet. Joe, Joe, I know you have Saka and Sane. Paul, who are your 2 bets?
Yeah, I've gone for a bigger price one, also at 40 to 1, and probably slightly biased because he plays for Manchester United. I'm going to go Bruno Fernandes at 40 to 1. I get he plays a bit of a slightly different role for Portugal, but he's so important and integral to. I know, Joe, it's not Scott McTominay. If Scott McTominay was 40 to 1, I'd be worried. What price is Scott McTominay anyway? Just got to go have a look. Yeah, Bruno at 40 to 1. I think Portugal are going to win it. I think Portugal are going to get to the final, and I think he's been playing. He's been going under the radar, I think, a little bit about how good he was playing towards the back end of the season for Manchester United. Yeah. He was fantastic in that cup final against City, and he's not been as prolific as he once was for Manchester United. But I think, again, when you only need 4 or 5 goals, essentially 5, 6, I think Bruno can do it. Probably will take penalties if Ronaldo isn't on the pitch, which would be a big factor. But yeah, I like it. 40 to 1 just seems a big for a player that good as well. And then another one at decent odds, I've gone for Antoine Griezmann. Tends to show up in these tournaments for France. And I know, some of the hype is always about Mbappe. But Griezmann does tend to chip in with a few. He's got a good goal scoring record for France. And we're seeing sort of maybe less of Giroud as a goal scorer for France, even though he's France's all-time leading goal scorer. But yeah, I just think, the opportunity Griezmann at 28 to 1 as part of that front 3, I think is good value.
Nice. Yeah, McTominay at 250 to 1.
Nice.
And he scored 7 and 8 in qualifying. 11 to 2 to be top Scotland goal scorer. But that isn't what he suggested. So yeah, it's a good bet for Scotland though, right?
Yeah.
50, yeah, I like both of those as well. I think Fernandes, just kind of alluded to in the chat there, but if he gets on penalties as well, they could easily get 2, 3, 4 penalties in the tournament. That wouldn't be outlandish. I don't know if he'd be taking them if Ronaldo's on the field. I assume not. But
I think this is
Ronaldo doesn't play 90 minutes.
This is a big reliant on Ronaldo not starting, I think. But
or even not finishing.
Yeah, because I think set pieces as a whole, isn't it? It's free kicks in and around the box. It's that Fernandes, take all of them for Manchester United. if Ronaldo's on the pitch, he's probably not going to get a sniff. So we'll see. But yeah, like 40 to 1, I think is a good price.
Yeah. I've also gone for a Portuguese top goal scorer. I have gone for Diogo Jota at 50 to 1. Same kind of logic. I know he's not going to take set pieces, but he's a real fox in the box, Jota. I think it kind of goes underrated a little because, he plays with Salah, Diaz, Nunez, but he knows where the goal is. He knows how to find himself in these little sticky situations and just pops up with goals. And again, wouldn't surprise me if he just gets a hat-trick against a weaker opponent and, you're well on your way. My second one is Artem Dovbyk, Ukraine again. Verona, top goal scorer in the league last season, is 66 to 1. I think Ukraine are going to go well. Therefore, I think he's going to have a good tournament. I love the bet you mentioned earlier, Paul, of Mudryk at 12 to 1 for top Ukraine goal scorer. But I think this at 66 to 1 just be top goal scorer tournament. You do get outsiders win these things, and he just seems a good long shot to me. It's going to be the main man.
And I think it helps that with the division, the group is in.
Yep.
It's like when other teams are playing, like the big teams, they'll sit back and put 10 men behind the ball. But when they're playing Ukraine, so the other teams, Romania, Slovakia, them are like, oh no, this is our chance to win the game. Yeah, well, we need to win the game, so they'll be more likely to attack, and then leaves it more open for Ukraine to get more goals compared to against when they play Belgium. They'll probably just all sit back and just we'll take a point and we'll move on to the next games.
Yeah. Goal scorers, Paul, you didn't give us any assists, but me and Joe have got 2 most assists each. Just kind of go through these again because kind of touching on things we've already done. I have Bruno Fernandes at 14 to 1. Similar kind of logic to yours, Paul. Just he's going to be popping up the assist for Jota in my scenario, not with the goals himself. And Musiala at 33 to 1. In a Germany team, I expect to score goals. Maybe Sane is going to get a boatload of them. Maybe
it's good value you've got there on Bruno, by the way, because he's 10 to 1 on Bet365. He's
nice. Yeah, it's his DraftKings in the US. Musiala, 33 to 1. I think he's their most talented player. He's going to create spaces. He dribbles. He creates opportunities in the area. I just think he's too overpriced at 33 to 1. Again, that home advantage with pushing to score goals. So, I've gone with those 2 in teams I expect to go far and score a lot of goals, probable. And, starters throughout. Joe, you've got 2 assists as well?
Yeah, I've gone, we've always talked about, I've gone Kane at 20, was it 25? Yeah, 25. Player 2 plus 2,500. Something to what he said, how he drops back, and I think how he plays in that England squad. I think he could get quite a few assists where he's dropping off, and and then you've got the 2 runners with Saka, possibly Palmer or Gordon or even Foden working off him, and I think he could get quite a lot of assists. And it feels like he always gets the ones where he just hits him and he somehow falls to someone. So if he's not the top scorer, then I think he'll certainly be up there with the assist. And I've also gone Rodri just because, and I've got him later on as well. He's just one of them players who seems to be the ball it's always near him. If it's a free kick or anything, it always feels like he's in and around making something happen. I had him in the in one of my fantasy teams this year, and he just seemed to get so many points just by you're just surprised that he's got another goal, he's got another 2 assists, and he was just surprising, even just being a CDM, how much he's involved in goals, and plus 4,000 at 41, who I thought was a great price. And if Spain goes far like I predicted that, then he certainly could get a couple.
Yeah, I love both of those. Kane at 25 to 1, I think is a great bet because, like talking about with Saka, I just think he's going to drop deep, play people in. I think that's a real smart one. We've all got a player with a tournament bet, and we've already talked about all 3 players, so should I just shout them out?
Yeah.
So, Paul, you've got Musiala at 22 to 1. I've got Bruno at 28 to 1. Joe, Rodri, you just talked about 33 to 1. All teams we expect to go far. All players who are going to be integral if those teams do go far. Not sure we need to say much more that we're going to repeat ourselves. Top team goal scorers have all gone forward. Some nice, interesting bets here. Paul, you've only got the one. Do you want to start us off?
Yeah, so I've gone for Trossard for Belgium, top Belgian goal scorer, plus 750. There's been, I don't know if, what's the phrase that's always gets used? Golden generation of Belgium's been and gone, and they just never, ever seem to deliver. Did they get to 1 semi-final maybe, or was it 1 quarter? Was it quarter-final?
They got to a semi-final. They got to a quarter-final. Didn't they get beat by Wales in the quarter? No, they got beat by World quarterfinal, yeah.
Well, yeah, they got beat by, and then they got to a quarterfinal World Cup. I think they got beat by
Yeah.
Argentina, but yeah, they just never clicked. Did it all the big names?
2018, I think they made the semi because we played them in the third, fourth place.
Oh,
playoff,
yeah.
But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, France beat them. Yeah, okay, yeah, but and that's been and gone. And while they still have a lot of really, really good players, I think maybe now there's less. The expectation on Belgium is a lot less now because for years, kind of 4 or 5 tournaments, it was right. You know, this is going to be the one. This is going to click. They've got all these world class players. It just never worked. Probably because they had Roberto Martinez as the manager.
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? But yeah, I'd just like Trossard again, another one who came alive down the stretch for Arsenal, in real good form. You know, he kept Martinelli out of that team for Arsenal for, you know, and kind of Martinelli getting injured, let him in, but he never gave up that place.
Yep.
And he's just been he's been in consistent good form for a couple of years, kind of at Brighton and then for Arsenal. So yeah, I fancy him because Lukaku's the overwhelming favourite as top team goal scorer, but he's fucking useless. So yeah, I like Trossard at plus 750, 7.5 to 1, 15 to 2.
Trossard's a really good finisher as well.
Yeah.
You know, if he gets a sniff in front of goal, he's one I would think will take it. I'll take my first one as well, just because it's kind of on the same line. I've gone Jeremy Doku at 10 to 1. Basically the exact same thought process. I think he's going to be in a position that suits him. He's so direct, and I don't expect Lukaku to outscore him. That's pretty much exactly it. Who else do I have? Get me sheet up. Bruno Fernandes again for Portugal. I know I've gone Jota overall, but I just thought Bruno at 5 to 1. If he gets on penalties, I think that's just a nice little bet at 5 to 1. And Amanda Brozier, Albania, they've got him priced as second favourite, and I think this is basically will they score a goal because they're in a really tough group. But I think they'll go with his physicality up front. He's been starting in the warm-ups, and basically you can get 5 to 1 on him being the top thing. Their other starting striker, who I don't think it will be starting, is slightly short, and I forget who that is. And then it's Albania not score a goal at like plus 750. I think if anyone's going to score for them, it is going to be Brozier. I think he's an actually okay striker. I'm not going to say he's top level, but I think he's fine. And kind of what's leaning into this is like, I'm not betting on this as an outcome, I don't believe. But I'm just really kind of underwhelmed by Italy, and that defence looks very suspect. And I think they might come unstuck, and I think it might be an early Albania goal that kind of like is on like them, footage of where Italy they've had disasters in the past, and I think this could be another one where I'm not going to say they lose to Albania, but they might not win. And I think basically 5 to 1 on him scoring in any of the 3 games seems like a good bet to me. Joe, you've got 3 team top goal scorers as well.
Yeah, I've got Saka, which I talked about, plus 900. I've got Jota plus 1200, which I was similar to what you said, Byron. I feel like he's always fox in the box. He's always gets you 1 or 2 goals out of nowhere. And yeah, and if that team's, because obviously they're not relying on Ronaldo as much now, so people have got to step up, and he could be one of them. And then just one out there, I just went Souček for the Czech Republic at plus 1400. Similar to what you mentioned about Brozier, he's just, again, one of the players for West Ham. Any corner, he's a threat, and that's probably where they're the most dangerous. And he did score quite a few goals last year, just doing them late runs as well. Again, mainly headers, and when you look at that team and how they're going to score the goals, it's probably going to come from them scenarios. So why not choose a guy who can head the ball the best? And at plus 1400, I thought it was a good shout where he gets 1 or 2 goals, and you've got that bet sewn up. So went Souček there.
Grand, yeah, I like that Souček one, 14 to 1. Like you say, he's always good for a goal. Always a sneaky like fantasy Premier League play because you never know when he's going to get one, but he'll get a few a season certainly. And then we're kind of into our bit of random ones. I've got a group winner treble, France, England, and Portugal. I just think they're so clear in their group. Obviously, Paul, you're not going to take that one, but that's 3 to. It's not 3 to 1. The next one below it's 3 to 1, 2 to 1, which I think is a real good one. I have Germany to win the group with Hungary in second because I don't rate Switzerland and I do not rate Scotland, as I might have mentioned. At 3 to 1, I think Hungary are a pretty solid team. Szoboszlai, I think, is a real good player, and he'll have more license for Hungary than he does for Liverpool. I have Georgia with a lower scoring team at 15 to 2. I think there's a few teams that could be in contention there. And I have Poland to lose all their games at 5 to 1. Lewandowski is missing the opening game, and I think their team is very, very talent light. If he's only playing in 2.
They opted to leave Matty Cash at home, so they must have a lot of good players.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong actually. Maybe I need to do some more research there, but I have already staked on 5-1. So
maybe you need to cash that one out early.
Sounds like the Poland coach. Who's got the most here? Joe, you've got the most. Do you want to run through your random ones to wrap up your bets up?
Yeah, so I've gone. I just went when I was looking at the groups and just looking like the favourites. So I just chose all 6 to see where we come to. So if you choose Germany, Spain, England, France, Belgium, Portugal to all win that group, it gets to just 9-1 plus 974. So I thought it was a nice
Nice price,
and a decent price for all of them. And you expect that. Obviously, there's always some upsets, but I just feel like how the Euros is now with there's so many teams, they should all win their groups. I've gone for similar group forecast. I went Spain first, Croatia second at plus 550. Similar to what you mentioned about Italy, I just feel like they're always, they'll win one and then they 4 years later they'll get knocked out in the group stage. So I went for that one, and that's why I've gone for not to qualify. So obviously it's a lot harder this year because obviously with the third place and all that shenanigans. So I've gone for Italy, Scotland, and Poland not to qualify. So similar to what you were saying, Byron, at plus 1,500, just a little bit higher than that. So I just thought with Italy's group, I feel like they've got the hardest group with Spain and Croatia. So. And they've got Albania first. So like you said, if they draw that game, then suddenly there's a whole lot of pressure on them. So I think it's big how that game goes for that bet. I've got Scotland, the lowest scoring team at plus 1,000, and Austria, the lowest scoring team at plus 1,100, similar to what you mentioned just with the division. Why I keep saying division with the group they're in.
I think we're doing an NFL pod still. I understand that.
I know, yeah. And then finally, I just random one. I went Denmark to be eliminated on penalties at plus 900 because I thought what team's going to qualify, but then end up drawing 0-0 in a game and going,
It feels like Denmark do that every tournament, and I have no idea if that's true.
Well, they did it to England, the last one. So, but it feels like that kind of team who would, set out to make it 0-0, 1-1 kind of game, and then it goes to penalties, and it's 50-50. So, why not chuck a random bet on there?
I love that tribble on the Italy, Scotland, Poland at 15-1. I think I'll be seeking that out because I think that's a great price. I agree with all 3 teams, obviously. 15.54. Yeah, I think that's a great price. You're a good find. Paul, your odds and sods, who have you got?
Couple of odds, just a couple of bits. So I'd a couple, and just a second stab at this, but young player of the tournament, Rasmus Højlund, 25-1. Denmark, can you tell I support Manchester United?
You've got your Man U Denmark shirt on?
Yeah, I have actually, yeah. Stop-start season for Højlund for Manchester United in terms of injuries. But kind of when he got settled and got going, he looked lethal. And I think Denmark are going to be a sneaky good team. So much so I also like Denmark to win the group. They're in England's group. Denmark to win the group of 4-1. Denmark will beat England. Denmark are 4-1. I like that as a price to win the group. But yeah, Rasmus Højlund. I think I think he's a really good centre forward. They will create enough, and I think he's capable of finishing. So if he gets, as a young striker, 3 or 4 goals, if he's in the race for the golden boot, so to speak, or race for the top goal scorer, that could be enough for him to kind of be young player of the year. Understandably, Jude Bellingham is overwhelming favourite. But as a second one, again, can you tell I support Manchester United? Kobbie Mainoo looks like he's going to start for England. So he's been brilliant for United. Was arguably the best player on the pitch against Man City in the cup final. Why can't he? He's such a good footballer. I can't see no reason why he doesn't put in some sterling performances for England. So if England do manage to get through the groups and go far, and he's, I think if he starts the first game, he won't get dropped. Then why not? Kobbie Mainoo 16-1.
Nice. Can't really argue with that. I think you've got a cheeky little Slovenia bet as well, Paul.
Oh, yeah, I missed that one. Yeah, Slovenia, over to his team goal total, over 2.5. They've got a fantastic centre forward. just that.
Does he play for Man U?
No, he doesn't.
He wishes.
He will be staying at Red Bull Leipzig. I believe he just signed a new contract today.
Benjamin Sesko, right?
Sesko, yeah. Yeah, over 2.5. And again,
Doesn't take much to get there.
no, exactly. You know, and again, they'll score against England. Stones and Gray at the back. Denmark, Serbia. Yeah, they can score 3 goals in 3 games.
I do have one sneaky one that I didn't put on the sheet, actually, just when you're talking about Højlund. Højbjerg has scored 3 and 3 for Denmark. He's 20-1 for top Danish scorer.
Nice.
Just a little thought. I haven't bet it yet. Just thinking about it as maybe a potential bet. He seems to come up with goals when you don't really expect him to, because it doesn't seem really in his MO. But yeah, he's got 3 in his last 3 in the warm-ups. So I might have a little punt on Pierre-Emil Højbjerg to back on his old turf in Germany.
Full named him as well.
Yeah, I used to really rate Højbjerg, and kind of just fell off a little bit. But I thought he used to be a real good player, but not so much nowadays. And yeah, that wraps up our Euro 2024 betting preview. One actual other one little thing as well. Like, I kind of just want to take the under 2.5 on Switzerland and Croatia games. Switzerland especially, I just think they're going to try and be very possession heavy and try and win games 1-0. Just think that's going to be how they're set up to play. Switzerland, I don't think have too much going forward. But we're not doing game-by-game previews, really, other than Scotland, Germany, a little shout out there. But yeah, I just think they're going to be 2 low-scoring teams who might do okay. But I'm going to take the under 2.5 in pretty much all their games. So
we will, I guess, if you've got bets running, which I'm sure we will, match bets and stuff like that, we'll post them all on the Twitter.
Yeah.
I guess that's probably the place for them. So yeah, make sure you're following GTW_GTC over on Twitter, X, and then just follow the rest: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify while you're at it.
Grand. And yeah, that's our Euro 2024 preview done. But what we have now is our NFL players as Euro 2024, or just soccer 11s, football 11s, whatever you want to call it. Don't know who wants to drive here and get us some screen sharing. But
this was an interesting exercise. I'm thinking, yeah.
We didn't discuss this too much even, and we all seem to go slightly different angles on it, which
I think is good for the purposes of.
I agree.
Yeah, podcast discussion. My screen's going crazy, so it looks like I'm having a rave here. We're just lighting off. Yeah. I've lost my train of thought. We're going to go for each of us selected an 11 of current NFL players to make up a soccer 11, and we'll talk through why we've picked, and then maybe you can vote on who's the best one if we can be bothered putting a poll up. Probably not. But let's go. Joe, do you want me to share the screen? Who's going first? Is it my team first?
Yeah. I'm saying yeah. I don't know.
You just pointed at your screen then. Like, that's not clear who you were pointing at.
It's you, Paul.
Yeah, thanks. Some great podcasting there.
Oh, look at that dapper.
As well. Yeah, you put me in the shirt and tie. So apologies to the people on Spotify if you're listening, because you're not going to have the wonderful visuals that Joe's put together. But you'll be able to see these team sheets on Instagram and Twitter, I'm sure, when we get them uploaded. Once the episode drops, and this screen's absolutely doing my head in. Sorry, guys. It's terrible. It just keeps flashing on and off. I think there's cable. But anyway, that's not what people want to hear. Yes, I picked my team. I went with a 4-3-3 formation. I think we've all gone 4-3-3, haven't we? Starting off my goalkeeper. So I want a goalkeeper. Look, I understand we've had a move in soccer, football, to kind of goalkeepers have to be comfortable with the ball at the feet, you play out from the back, all that jazz. Well, I want a goalkeeper who's a bit of a nutter. That's what I want. Like, you have to have a screw loose to go in goal. So I've gone for San Francisco 49er tight end, George Kittle as my goalkeeper. Obviously, very imposing, filling that space in between the posts. And yeah, he's got a bit of a screw loose, hasn't he? Kittle is a bit of a character. So that's what I want in a goalkeeper. George Kittle is my goalkeeper. Onto my back four. I was starting right back. So I suppose common with football is now, like some real athletes at fullback, because got to get it up and down. Need that pace, needs to be strong. I've gone for Devon A-Chain. A-Chain, I still don't get that right. All season I couldn't get it right. Devon A-Chain, Miami Dolphins running back. He's just 100 mile an hour up and down that side. Great recovery speed going up against wingers. I've got A-Chain as my. I've just said it a third different way. A-Chain as my right back. My left back. Again, I've got more old school left back. I reckon Justin Herbert has got a wand of a left foot. That's what I want in classic left back. Might not be able to do anything else, but he's got an absolute wand of a left foot. Get him on set pieces.
I would just say, is he a bit too pretty to be a left back? You know what I mean? You don't see many good lookers at left back. It's normally the Phil Nevilles of the world.
Yeah, he does give give David Beckham vibes, doesn't he, Justin Herbert?
I was going to say, there's a little Maldini to the locks, to be fair. And who better left back than Paolo Maldini?
Or Chilwell.
But yeah, I think Justin Herbert can have a wonderful left foot, and that's why he's playing left back. He'll need a lot of help on that side, I think, defensively. And then I've got a bit of a mix of your classic centre-half partnerships, kind of, what one strengths is the other weaknesses and so on. So they complement each other very, very well. So I've gone for Detroit Lions, tackle Penei Sewell, and Pittsburgh Steelers defensive end, TJ Watt. Ferdinand and Vidic. What I'm going for. I think TJ Watt's going to go up and win every header. Nothing's going to get past him. Still, as being a unit, might have that bit of class to him as well. So that's my back four. What are your thoughts on my back four, guys?
It's a little different to what I went with, truthfully. But the Sewell and Watt partnership is very similar to what I went with. It's more the fullbacks I'm talking about, actually. Yeah, I think Sewell and Watt is a great defensive partnership. I think you want kind of a beast and a mop-up kind of guy. So I think between the two of them, I think you've got that down pretty well. Yeah. Sewell, a real good protector, so he can fill that role well.
I'm guessing you've gone Sewell, Rio, TJ Watt, Vidic. Is that the way you
I would see those roles, just because, again, thinking about what they do on, not just because of, but the roles on an NFL team of Watt, even though he's a defensive player, not that Sewell isn't aggressive. Of course, he's a beast. But yeah, Watt's that aggressor in terms of obviously pursuing the quarterback, etc. And Sewell's the protector sort of role. So Sewell, like Ferdinand's probably the more calmer element of that partnership, whereas Watt's the psycho in Vidic, who just was just a straight up animal.
But saying that, you could have gone TJ as Rio because he's his brother. Arguably, could you say he was a better defender?
I don't think anybody's having that conversation about Anton Ferdinand, but maybe TJ and JJ. Yeah, that's a conversation. I don't think anybody's had that conversation about Rio and Anton Ferdinand.
Well, you heard it here first.
You have that conversation with yourself, Joe, yeah?
Yeah, I'm not going to win it.
Right, that's my back four. So, yeah, a bit of a different. I didn't want it to go for it was easy to I got all defensive players as back four, but I want to mix it up a bit. There's value in some of those. So, my holding midfielder, shielding the back four. I've gone for Anton Winfield Jr., the Tampa Bay Buccaneers safety. That almost obviously it's not your last line of defense, but you have somebody that deep lying midfielder, just keeps everything in front of them, can see everything, can go into set passes, can go break things up, senses danger. I think the top safety in the league is a great person to be that holding midfielder. Sauce Gardner, he's going to be my 8, I guess. He's my box to box midfielder. Sauce. He's got the frame for it. He can win duels in midfield, but he's still athletic enough to get up and down and get around, contribute defensively and offensively as well. Due to his range. Obviously, he's a big, tall, long guy. Yeah, he's like my Patrick Vieira in midfield. Strides about the place. And then, as a bit of can do it all in midfield, Josh Allen. Buffalo Bills quarterback, Josh Allen. He can carry the ball from midfield, break lines. He can pass in between the lines, and he can just run you over. He's not afraid to mix it up. He's not afraid to get stuck in, be a bit dirty, be physical in midfield, but he's also got the class touches and the ability to just kind of create something out of nothing. So that's why I've gone for Josh Allen as my third member in midfield, more of my attacking option in midfield.
Are you worried that he'll probably lose the quarter semi-final as he does every year?
Possibly, yeah. And then my front three, I'll start on the right wing. I've just gone pure pace. Tyreek Hill. Those deep balls in behind, Allen to Hill, those diagonal passes in behind the fullbacks, in that gap between kind of centre half and fullback. I like Tyreek Hill to get in there. Debo, again, one of those players that can do it all. He can dribble it past you. He can take balls, through balls through, break the lines, so on. Debo can do a bit of everything. He's on my left-hand side. And then I've gone for an absolute unit up top. Seattle Seahawks wide receiver, DK Metcalf. Just a beast. The player had the fastest play. He was the fastest play in the NFL last year, that touchdown for the Seahawks against the Cowboys, while still being 6'4" and whatever he is, 200 odd pounds. Just an absolute unit, a machine. What a great person to lead the line. Again, he can stretch the field, he can get in behind, he can hold it up, cause havoc, play physical against the centre halves. He can do it all. Thoughts on my team? Just gone through the midfield and the strikers there.
Yeah, no real issues. I presume you're going to play on natural turf. So it'd be nice for Gardner to actually be on some grass. But yeah, I like you've got a lot of pace on that right hand side. Maybe a bit more conservative on your left hand side. Just Herbert Dinkin from deep.
Yeah,
I think it's an interesting 11 and a dapper coach to go with it.
Yeah, we've got Herbert, obviously the bombs from deep as well. Again, Tyreek on that down that right hand side, those crossfield balls.
Metcalf deep. Flick on and
play it in.
Tyreek Hill doing your Michael Owen to Metcalf's Heskey.
You know what this team can do? This team can play any style of football. Can mix it up. We can go along. We can play short. We can play intricate. We can play tiki-taka, whatever.
I do have a slight concern.
Yes.
Cold Tuesday night in Stoke. You've got Tyreek Hill, Devon Achane. Miami can't do it in Kansas in the winter. Do you think they're going to stand up to a cold Tuesday night in Stoke?
Ultimately? A windy Tuesday night in Stoke. Well, that's where Sauce becomes very important in that midfield three about helping out the right-hand side.
Fair.
Yeah, and I just worry about the discipline up top, Could you see a Rooney situation kicking out, elbows going out? But no, it's a great team, Paul. Good picks.
Thank you. Who are we moving on to next, Joe?
Byron. Oh, look at that. That is an outfit.
Tracksuit manager.
Long sleeves. Yeah, we've got Michael Dixon, Seattle Seahawks punter in goal. I want someone who's going to, he's got that long snap. He's good at reacting. He's good with the ball at his feet. He's probably my favorite punter in the NFL, which is kind of, damning with faint praise. But he has such interesting kicks. I think he's going to be able to start attacks Edison style. And he's Australian. He's got a football background. So, yeah, he was kind of I was torn between Justin Tucker and Michael Dixon, but Tucker doesn't deal with the long snaps. He generally gets the ball on a tee or held. Dixon, I think, deals in long snaps real well. So, yeah, he was my easy pick at goalkeeper. My fullbacks, I've gone Minkah Fitzpatrick at right back and Deron Bland at left back. I want solid defenders who are going to snatch that ball and get back upfield. Counter attack, we're going to gegenpress. We're going to win that ball and do something with it. We're not just content with keeping it, but we have a solid base as well. One of those ball snatchers. Defense, similar kind of thing to you, Paul. Chandler Jones is going to be my, Saliba, my beast, my bully. And then Myles Garrett is just going to be pace, power. You're not getting past either of these guys very easily. They're going to bully you. And, you're not going to win any battles against them.
Do you want Chandler Jones or Chris Jones?
Chris Jones. Did I say Chandler Jones?
Yeah.
Oh, what? Why is he on my mind? I mean, he knows how to finish, to be fair, as Mac Jones knows all too well. But yeah, Chris Jones is who I want, yes. And that is who the picture is. Thank you. No idea why I said Chandler. I didn't even know I did.
What is he? Is he still fully lost the plot, Chandler Jones? I mean, we've not heard.
I thought you were going to say me. Yes, I don't think he's back in football, and I don't think I've heard any positive news on him. to be
Sorry,
more polite than has he lost the plot.
Didn't mean to interrupt you there, but I just thought
No, that's absolutely. I mean, I'm the one who's dropping Chandler Jones in apparently. So more than please clarify that. Yes, Chris Jones. That would have been Aaron Donald any other season, but I wanted DT and a DE, and I think they're the best two. So, and then Roquan Smith hovering up. He's Aaron Golo Kante. He's going to mop that entire, back half as Bland and Fitzpatrick move forward. He's going to, team up with Garrett and Jones, just secure, keep things simple back there, and then let the front five do their talking. So, Lamar Jackson's going to be our box to box, rapid, can pass the ball, can spray it as well, but more importantly, can beat a man in space and move forward. Patrick Holmes, free roll, do what he want. He's going to be our maverick, 8 into a 10.
Do you worry about the dad bod? Is he getting a pre-season training beforehand, before the Euros start?
I would, but if he was in Jackson's role and he had to get up and down, but Mahomes is just going to improvise, let Lamar and Roquan do the hard yards, and let Mahomes do the magic. That's all I need. More of an Ozil than a Odegaard, I guess.
Are there concerns about Lamar's durability in a central midfield role?
I mean, it could be. I'm going to gamble on upside. And, I know he hasn't even shown up for OTAs, but that might be because he's working on his football conditioning. We'll see, I guess, but could be an issue. But I think that explosiveness and that top level, unanimous MVP, near unanimous MVP, this is a guy who's got the ceiling. So, and then, we've gone with CMC, who I think better than anybody in the league can beat a man on the outside and then get the ball into the middle. Can drop deep if he needs to, can work out the backfield. Jefferson is a do-it-all. He can go on the outside, can go inside, can beat a man, can beat two men, can play with bad players, play with good players. I think he's going to be he already is a stud. But he's kind of a do-it-all winger, going to cut inside. And then we have Kelsey. He has the hook and ladder. He drops deep. I think he's our Harry Kane. He's going to get everyone else involved. Him and Mahomes already have that understanding. So I think he's going to be, like I say, our Harry Kane, dropping deep, pinging balls. And, I know Jack Grealish didn't make it in for the banter. But I think Travis Kelce, how good is he going to be on a tournament training camp?
Do you worry about how the media is going to follow the wags of this team? And that's going to be going into it.
I don't think that ever negatively impacted a national team like England. So, no, I have no reason to worry about that.
Excellent. Yeah, I love the Kelsey Mahomes partnership. I know you mentioned there Justin Jefferson can play with bad players. Well, we're about to find out because JJ McCarthy's about to be throwing in the ball. So,
I mean, he looked pretty good with Josh Dobbs and Nick Mullins last year, to be fair, when he was fit. So, I think he's got it proven.
Yeah, like it. This is probably the team with the biggest number of superstars in it. I think out of the three teams, like
even the guy on the sideline,
yeah, even the guy on the sideline, Jackson, Mahomes, CMC, Kelsey, Jefferson.
Is that the worry?
Yeah.
Is that the worry that the coach is he going to be able to control the players, the stars? Is he, in his tracksuit, is he big enough to rise to the occasion?
If I come out in a suit in the second game, things are going badly. Gary Neville at Valencia, swapping my outfit every game.
Happened to Real Madrid, didn't it? At the start of 2000s, all them superstars and they barely won anything.
Yeah.
Manager every 6 months.
Yeah. The new Mike Bassett.
Waiter, they're yelling at me.
The new Terry Venables at Barcelona.
Excellent. Right. Joe, let's move on to your team.
So, I've got the Pep outfit, the tactician, the suave guy with his turtleneck. So, let's go with my keeper. So, I've went similar to your path, Paul. I thought, who's got safe hands? Who can I rely on? Because really, I know it's all about nowadays about playing out from the back, but realistically, their job is to catch the ball, save as many shots, and let's get the young, up-and-coming tight end who seems, he's a Dan Campbell student. He's got the right attitude. So I've gone Sam Laporta as my goalkeeper to anchor this team. So my fullbacks, I've gone for a bit of a mix here. So the right back, I've got Kyle Hamilton, and I'll explain with the other players I've got. But he's the one who does everything. He sweeps everything. He's always in the right position, and that's what you want from your right back. He always, wherever the ball is, he's normally there around to clean stuff up. And my left back, I've gone for Jamar Chase. Just I feel like he's the wild card, the one who's going to bomb up and down the pitch, the one who's going to be, the Roberto Carlos, if you say, of the team, where it's all about, he's going to do some defending, but he's going to do them moments, and he's going to be, he's going to get the fans on board. He's going to be a fan favourite, bombing up and down that left wing. So my centre-backs, I've gone for a mean pair. One who will intimidate any opposition. You're thinking Tony Adams, Martin Keown kind of centre-backs, where, no one's going to have any...
I was thinking, but yeah.
No one's going to have any ankles by the end of the game. This is a typical Tuesday night at Stoke. You're thinking about Paul's team against this team. They're not going to want any of it. And that's with Trent Williams and Max Crosby as the two centre-backs. Crosby plays every snap. He's the one who's going to be constant. He's going to be able to help sweep up, help Williams out there. And he's just, he's the dancing bear. He's a big guy who can move. He can turn. He can protect. He's just a perfect centre-back. I think it's a great centre-back partnership.
Is dancing bear Martin Keown or Tony Adams?
Oh, that's a good question. What? Play Tony Adams. Did you not see him when he was the manager?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, when he was showing how it's done. So my defensive midfielder, similar to what Byron, I chose Fred Warner. Side to side, that's his strength. He's going from side to side. And again, he's one of the players who's always there, no matter where the ball is. He's going to be sweeping up. He's going to help out the rest of the team. My two centre midfielders, I've gone for a bit of a mix. I've gone for Joey Burrows. I just felt like he's going to be the Pirlo of the team. He's going to be, he's going to be the beautiful player, the one who's just like keeps into his feet and just keeps it moving. Just his beautiful passes along the field. He's going to just got to hover, and he's going to be the main focus of this team where the ball is going to lie. And then you got Micah Parsons. One is going to help out Chase at left back to cover that in his defensive side, but he's just a machine. He's just going to go up and down that field, and he's going to be there. And he's got great personality as well, so I think that's going to help the team. The Buren, great midfield there. So my wingers, I've gone for, and this is the biggest wildcard actually. I've got Xavier Worthy. I'm thinking Theo Walcott, 17-year-old, again called up for the World Cup. You take a speedster, the fastest 40-yard in any drafts, and I think we're just going to play down that wing. He's just going to be bombing, and we're going to try and play him behind. So I've got Xavier Worthy on the right, and on the left, I've gone for the tactician, the one who can run the best route, the smart guy, the old guard up top. It's Devontae Adams. He's going to be the one. He's going to be floating. He's going to be here, and then especially with Chase down the wing, he's going to let him take that, and Adams is going to come inside, and he's going to be that kind of player. And then finally, the main man himself, the big guy, it's Derrick Henry. Similar to what Paul said, get a big guy up front. He's going to be the one who's, no one's going to get around him. If he turns play back to goal, you're going to play into his feet. He's going to flick one. And, he can finish from a yard away. He's the ultimate finisher in the NFL where, if you're 2 or 3 yards and you need to get over the line, you go to Derrick Henry. And that's why he's standing up top. And he's going to be the top scorer or the tap-ins because everyone's going to be concentrating too much on Xavier Worthy's speed. So that's my starting 11. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, Xavier Worthy already doing better than Theo Walcott did at that World Cup because Xavier Worthy's actually on the pitch there.
Yeah, I like it. I'm trying to think of an equivalent for Derrick Henry in football terms, soccer terms.
Maybe like Mitrovic.
Mitro, that's a great shout. Yeah, I couldn't think of one, but yeah, that's a real good one.
Akin Fenwer.
Maybe a bit more disrespectful, but... And I like, a bit of a query I do have, though. Paul had issues of the cold Tuesday night in Stoke. Max Crosby and Joe Burrow, famous cigar smokers. Do you worry about maybe the cardiovascular issue is?
I'm thinking like the Wimbledon team, I'm going for like,
Sure. I guess, you've got Akin Fenwer up front. Yeah, it's not seeming so disrespectful now.
Exactly. The FA Cup winners,
You've got Martin Keown. You've got Dean Holdsworth up front. Yeah, fair enough.
It's a tournament at the end of the day. They only have to win 6 games, and teams not going to want to play these guys. I'm not thinking of the long run. Most of these will probably retire going on the future. Not going to make the next tournament. It's all about winning, and all these guys, like I said, no messing around. Mean machine kind of a team. Yeah, when we come against Paul's team, they're not going to want to play this team. They're going to be off the. We've already won before we even got to the pitch.
That's fair. Yeah, Derrick Henry's going to be a beast up there. I do have one other question, not so much about the football. It's more a sartorial question. What is your outfit?
So I've gone for the Pep, the turtleneck.
Turtle.
Yeah,
I see. Yeah, it looks a bit straitjackety. I'm not going to lie. And then I seen the lineup and I thought, yeah, maybe that makes sense.
Well,
No, okay, yeah, I see the turtleneck now. Yeah, underneath you, above the coat itself. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I think it's a good mix. I like it. Yeah, I like Hamilton at right back. I think that's strong. You've got a contract issue with Jamar Chase that you need to resolve. Yeah, she's managing your left back taking all the headlines because he's going on holding out. He's going on strikes. He needs a new contract. But yeah, interesting that you've got Chase and Burrows in it with Chase at left back and Joe Burrow in centre midfield.
Yeah, but he's going to bomb on past Adams and Burrow's going to pick him up.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
kind of
he's
Adams
a
comes
perler.
inside and he goes it's like Joe and Ashley Cole or something. Or
Exactly. But Burrows is literally not going to move that much. He's the pearl of the team. He's just going to get into feet and just whip it around, and that's where Chase is, bombing down the left side of the field as most NFL games.
Fair enough. Yeah, strong team. 3 very, very interesting teams, I think. Yeah.
I will be interested to see you put this one to a vote and see where we end up at.
Yeah, feel free, Byron, to do it.
May well do.
Feel free. Yeah, if you see that on Good Teams and Great Teams cover social media accounts, give it a vote. Joe's just disappeared.
See you, Joe. Yeah.
See you, Joe.
Very pep of him. Just he's had his moment and he's off.
Yeah. Very abrupt in the news press conference there. I don't know if we're going to get Joe back or not, but that's us anyway. We're at the end of the episode. Yeah. It's real awkward now. Thanks for watching, listening, whether you've been on YouTube or Spotify. As always, please give us a follow. Good Teams and Great Teams cover on Spotify. If you follow us, you'll be notified of new episodes when they drop. Also follow us on YouTube. If you don't subscribe, if you're watching, don't subscribe. Please do subscribe. Make the numbers look good. Also give us a follow over on Instagram, Twitter /X, and TikTok at GTW_GTC. We'll be back. He's back. Speaking of back, we'll be back next week with a yet to be determined episode. I'm not sure what we're going to do next week.
Probably reacting to England's big win.
Yeah, no, we're not talking about football again. That's it. That's done. Biannual. No, it's twice yearly.
I think I hit bi-weekly as a term as well because I never know if it means twice a week or once every other week. But every other year football preview has been done. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it'll be the World Cup in the good old US of A if we are still going by then. We'll do a preview of. Normal service will resume in some way, shape, or form next week with a yet to be determined episode. But enjoy the Euros when it starts. Have fun in front of your TVs. Hopefully, England do the business, or if you follow any other team, because we have people listening from around the world. Not many countries that are actually taking part in the Euros, though. I think our Scottish viewership went down today.
Mm-hmm. It did, yeah, massively.
Well, shout out to any Copa America teams as well.
It's Copa America.
African qualifiers going on as well for our Kenyan fan.
Nice, yeah. How are they doing?
Have been doing? Nigeria are in a real bad spot. I know that much, but I haven't really been tracking it too deeply, I must say. But fingers crossed for Kenya, I must say. Always have a bright spot for them now.
Absolutely.
Despite not following their results at all.
Right, that's it. Let's finish. Right, see you next week.
See ya.